Hey, it's Tim here. In today's video, we're going to be looking at a function called mid. Now, this one actually caught me out in a certification exam. It came up in the partner consultant exam that you have to do if you're a Tableau partner. And it's just one of those functions where I've never had to use it. So I just had no clue what it did. So I guessed. I didn't get the question right, unfortunately. But nonetheless, that didn't stop the certification. So what I wanted to do is immediately make a video about it, because if it's something that I don't know, then hopefully it's going to be useful for everyone. So I'm just going to connect to Superstore Sales here, and we're just going to get stuck in. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring in some subcategories. Okay, so subcategories tend to be good because they're nice and small, and we can kind of see the structure. It's not a long list as well. And I'll just to make this table make more sense, I'll bring in sales and we'll keep it at that. I'll go to format, font, and I will also change the size of this text so it's easier to see. So it's much easier for everyone to see. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can get stuck into the mid function. So let's go ahead and close the formatting tab and create a calculated field. And I'll put this window to the right hand side here. So all I need to do is type in mid, and you can see the function comes up. Now, if you've never used this function, I want to hear from you in the comments below, because I also think this is harsh of Tableau to put this in the exam, because who on earth has ever used this function? And actually, when you go through the use case, I've just never found a need for this. Normally, if you're doing this kind of thing, you might use something a little bit more structured like regex to kind of extract what you need. But nevertheless, let's go ahead and look at the mid function. So just over here on the right hand side, you see you get a very lengthy description of what it does. Essentially, it allows you to return text starting from a specified position in the string, and then you've got an optional second argument which tells you how many characters it should stop after. Okay, so let me just break that down into sort of plain English. I don't know why it's called mid. I think this is maybe database terminology, right? So we're going to call this on the subcategory field, so that's all good. We're going to hit a comma, and then we're just going to say 2. Okay, we're just going to choose an arbitrary number just to make that work, and we just call this subcat mid 2. Okay, and once we do that, we hit apply, and I'm just going to bring it into the field right next to subcategory so you can see what it's doing. So now let's drop that in, and you can see that essentially, if I just sort of decipher this, it's basically taking the subcategory field, okay, and essentially it's going to get to the second position in this string. So if I take my little subcategory string and I go here to accessories, you'll see that it goes to the second position. So the first one is A, the second is C, and then from C, it returns the rest of the string. So that's all it's doing. So in pretty much all of these, all I've done by selecting 2 is I've omitted the first letter. Okay, let's clear that and let's change this to 4 so you can see that working across all of them. Hit apply, and now you can see that it goes to the 4th one. So let's see here, appliances, you have 1, 2, 3, and then at L you have the 4th one. So that's where it starts. That's what it perceives as the first letter in the word or whatever character, and then it starts alliances over there. Now there's an optional second argument, which is if I hit a comma and then I say 2, it's basically going to tell it, once you get to that 4th position, return me just 2 characters. Essentially, you're specifying the length of what it should return. So now if I hit apply, you'll see that I just get 2 characters, because essentially it's finding the 4th position, it's treating that as number 1, and then it's returning 2 characters after that. So 1 and 2, and that's all you get. Okay, so it's kind of a weird function. I can't think of a use case where this is going to be what I'm doing, because if you're specifying this sort of structure, then you probably have some pretty structured data, so you might as well just go and do like a left or a right function, right, and return various things. You might also, for example, specify in another way. It's more common that you typically need to dynamically specify where to start and finish. So maybe that is the use case, because what you could do is where it says 4 is you could replace this 4 with another function that looks for the position of a specific character. Okay, so if you may be looking for, I don't know, an @ sign, you could maybe get this mid function to return everything after the @ sign up to an unlimited number of characters, right, in an email address. So maybe I've really sort of built a far-fetched use case there, and Tableau will automatically spit out email addresses, so you don't need to use that function to do that. But if you had to, that's sort of like a brute force way of doing that. Okay, so just to give you an example, let's go ahead and actually do that example. I'll create like an arbitrary field, and I'll just call john.smith at google.com. So let's say I wanted to return everything after the @ because I wanted just the domain. Let's go ahead and just show you how that looks like. So let's just say John Smith, hit enter. We'll call this our field test and hit apply. Okay. And if I bring that in, you see it applies to every single row. So now we can see that's nice and working. So now we can go ahead and use that in our field. So let's go ahead and use the mid function. Let's make this a lot bigger. And we're just going to bring in field test. Okay. And what I'd like to do is find the position of the @ sign. So in order to do that, if you do the find function, you'll see find will return the position of a particular thing. So what I'm going to do is on a new line, I'm just going to type the find function, okay, and I'm going to bring in the thing I'm looking for, which is the field test. And the thing in the field test that I'm looking for is the @ sign. So let's do an @ where's my @ sign here? So find will go find the position of the @ sign. So I'm going to grab that and I'm going to put that in here inside of the mid. So what this mid will do is it will use the position of the @ sign to choose where to start. And what I would like to do is I will put that find in its own bracket so that I can add +1, because I don't want the position of that find, the @ sign. I want the position of the next character. So if I add a +1 to that, that all makes sense. So this should leave me with the URL of the email. I'm fairly certain that when you automatically pass things out in Tableau, this is what it's doing. So let's go ahead and drop that in there and boom, you just get the URL. So I've sort of really gone out of my way to sort of show this working. Maybe that's a way, maybe that's a useful thing you might be able to use. Maybe you have some semi-structured data. You can't be bothered with regex, and the mid function is going to be a nice little use case for you. But hopefully that's helped you and it's helped me reinforce what the mid function is, at least in my own mind. So next time it comes in a certification exam, you don't have to worry about it. Okay. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Hit subscribe, like, share this video with other people who might like it, and be sure to check out tableautim.com, where I have all the same videos but in a nicer, more browsable format. And of course, check out the social media channels as well, Tableau Tim, pretty much anywhere, and also the Discord channel, which is going to be in the link below. All right, get stuck in and I'll catch you in the next one.